Good evening and welcome back to Northwestern. It has been a great day and we have more to come. I want you to meet your alumni board. As I call your names, if you will stand please. We have Valarie, President of the Alumni Board, Judy Alumni, David Taylor, Candy Almgren, and Chesley Thomas. They work really hard for you and for Northwestern. Our MC for this evening is a 1980 graduate of Northwestern. Valarie is the president of the Northwestern Oklahoma State University Alumni Board, and he will be here.
Well, it says here, it's nice to be here. But it's not. It's great to be here. And it's great to be a ranger. This time I'd like to introduce our guests at the head table. Beginning on the far east end, Dr. Keith Ballard, class of 1975. His wife, Christy Ballard. Charles Stuckey, class of 1961, and his wife, Linda Stuckey. Adrian Duncan, Barbara Duncan, class of 1969. Rick Cunningham, class of 76. And Dr. Garrett Cunningham, class of 1976. On the far west end, we have Tyler Hendrickson, Allison Woods, class of 2007. Manny Gamallo, class of 73. His wife, Kay Gamallo, class of 73. Valarie Case, class of 1985. Angela Case, class of 1984. Larry Ritchie, class of 73. Elizabeth Ritchie, class of 1996. I love my wife, Karen Kane, class of 1980. Myself, class of 1980. The Northwestern Report is compiled annually by the Northwestern University Relations Department. Mr. Steve Valencia, Associate Vice President for University Relations, along with University Relations Specialist Valarie Case, Instructional Media Technician Angela Case, University Relations Specialist Erica Burke, and Instructor of Mass Communications Jesse Schroeder. The 2010-2011 report is presented by Dr. Duncan.
Those members of our honored classes who
This academic year at Northwestern Oklahoma State University has seen our students carry on a long tradition of academic success as the institution moved forward in many areas. As president, one of my most enjoyable duties is leading the president's leadership class. Each year, I welcome a new group of freshmen into the class and watch them as they begin their collegiate journey. As I complete my 5th year as president, I now have the privilege of watching members of the class leave the university with a degree and begin professional life or further their academic studies. I am consistently amazed at the development of each student, from overwhelmed freshmen to confident and well-prepared graduates. Northwestern continually evolves and changes, but one thing stays the same. This university transforms lives, and our graduates have a profound impact on our state and country. Northwestern certainly transformed the lives of the outstanding graduates we will honor later this evening. Each one has made significant contributions to society, and their work as alumni has enhanced the reputation of the university. To each honoree, I offer the congratulations of the entire university community. This year, more students chose to begin their Northwestern experience as the university continued its recent trend of enrollment growth. Enrollment for the 2010 fall semester was the 5th largest in school history and marks the highest total in 40 years, as 2,311 students attended classes. This reflected an increase of more than 3% from a year ago. This fall's enrollment is the largest since a 4-year period during the Vietnam War era. The largest enrollment numbers were helped by a 7.5% increase in the number of first-time freshmen, which led the number of students living in campus housing to surge 21%. One of the reasons for the increase is Northwestern's growing reputation in Oklahoma and across the country. For the 4th consecutive year, Northwestern was ranked as Oklahoma's top public regional university by U.S. News & World Report in its America's Best Colleges 2011 rankings. The magazine ranked Northwestern 23rd among all baccalaureate colleges in the western United States. U.S. News also listed Northwestern as the top-ranked regional college in the western United States in terms of lowest debt load of graduating students. Only 49% of Northwestern students graduated with any student debt, and that percentage has improved by 7 percentage points in 3 years. Much of the credit for this ranking goes to the people in this room tonight for your continued support of our students through gifts to various scholarship funds and endowments. One example of this investment in students comes from alumna Dr. Peggy Wisdom and the Wisdom Family Foundation. This spring, the foundation continued its investment in the university and the agriculture education program with a gift of $205,000 to create a scholarship endowment. This endowment will provide much-needed scholarships to upperclassmen in the growing program. Dr. Wisdom also has been a strong proponent of the arts and previously presented Northwestern with a $250,000 gift to create an endowed chair in visual arts with the goal of bringing back an art program. This year, Dr. Wisdom doubled her investment in this area with a second endowed chair. With her support, Northwestern will reinstate its art program in the fall, ending a 23-year absence on the campus. The addition of a visual art program will only add to the continuing success of the Department of Fine Arts. This year, the program experienced great success as its students excelled in performance and competition. The University Chorale received national recognition by placing 3rd in the college and university category of the American Prize competition. The American Prize is a national choral competition designed to recognize and reward the very best in the performing arts in the United States. Theater students continued their tradition of outstanding performances with several productions during the year. The department also saw Ashlyn Walker, a senior from Perryton, Texas, accepted into the 2010 Kennedy Center Summer Playwriting Program in Washington, D.C. Walker was one of only 60 students from across the nation selected for the program. This year saw a resurgence in the Ranger Band, as nearly 70 students participated in the marching band, and growth was experienced in other instrumental performance groups. Northwestern students were not the only ones making headlines this year. Earlier this year, Dr. Cheryl Evans, Dean of the Enid campus, was selected as the new president of Northern Oklahoma College. Dr. Evans has been with the university since 1994. Athletics continues to be an important part of campus and community life, and the Rangers experienced many successes this past season. The football team won another Central States Football League crown and advanced to the NAIA National Playoffs. The men's basketball team put together a 22-win season with some memorable wins and was in contention for a national tournament berth. In 2010, Northwestern's baseball team also put together its best season in many years with a 35-22 win-loss record. This year, the team enjoyed its first full season playing in Myers Stadium. The transformation of the baseball facility has been amazing, and benefactors Todd and Mary Margaret Miller were honored at its dedication on April 2nd of this year.
We look forward to a bright future of Ranger baseball and to all the teams that will utilize this facility in the future.
Northwestern's rodeo teams enjoyed a banner year with 5 cowboys and 4 cowgirls advancing to the college national finals rodeo. The rodeo team will enjoy a new training and stock facility beginning next year, thanks to a gift from Dawn and Phyllis Campbell of Alva, who will give the Alva Sales Barn facility north of the city to the team for its use. During the past year, Northwestern announced its intention to apply for membership in Division II of the NCAA and seek membership in the newly formed Great American Conference. This move has been thoroughly studied for nearly 2 years and has been determined to be the best option in securing the future of our athletic teams. Our athletic programs will deal with the loss of 2 outstanding individuals, Milburn Barton and Bob Battisti. Both have been a large part of the university's success in athletics through the years as directors of athletics and basketball coaches. In nearly 60 years of collective service, the two have combined for 788 basketball victories, won 8 conference titles, coached 7 All-Americans, made 8 trips to the NAIA National Tournament, and won 8 Conference Coach of the Year titles. Northwestern students also excelled in a number of other areas during the year. Nursing graduates from the class of 2010 achieved a perfect 100% pass rate on their national licensure examinations. The exams are used by boards of nursing to test the competence of candidates for licensure as nurses. For the 3rd time in 5 years, Northwestern Student Oklahoma Education Chapter was named the Outstanding Chapter of the Year at its state convention. SOEA is comprised of education majors who plan to enter the teaching profession. Northwestern will be home to 2 SOEA state officers next year, as Robin Walker of Alva will serve as state president and Audra Halliburton of Laverne will be the National Education Association delegate. Northwestern produced its 2nd Brad Henry International Scholar as Shanti White, a senior from Enid, was selected for the prestigious program and is spending the spring semester participating in an international study and internship program at Swansea University in Wales. White is majoring in social work, and after graduating from Northwestern, she plans to attend the University of Oklahoma to pursue a master's degree in social work. Austin Meyer, an Alva senior majoring in political science, has been selected to represent Northwestern as this year's Social Sciences Department Civic Education Fellowship Award recipient. As such, Meyer will serve as an intern for Senator Bryce Marlatt in the Oklahoma State Legislature during the last 2 weeks of the current legislative session. Meyer plans to pursue a career in the public service field after attending law school. Senior Amanda Moyer of Fargo is already making her mark known in healthcare research following a summer research internship at the Oklahoma Medical Research Foundation. She conducted research under noted scientist Dr. Judith James, who is known for her work in autoimmune diseases. During her internship, Moyer looked for a correlation between low vitamin D levels common in autoimmune disease patients and a certain protein. Her research led to the cloning of a gene and the possibility of continued research into her findings. Moyer also has learned that she has been accepted into the University of Oklahoma's College of Medicine. Moyer is one of several students who will continue their studies in professional schools. Alyssa Logston of Alva will join Moyer at the OU College of Medicine, while Grayson Starbuck, also of Alva, will study physical therapy at the OU Health Sciences Center. Another Alva graduate, Haley Nida, has been accepted to physical therapy school at Texas Tech University. Graduate Callie Mossberg of Beaver has been accepted into the optometry program at Northeastern State University, and December graduate Crystal Herber of Shattuck has been accepted into the renowned Graduate School of Journalism at the University of Missouri. Students also are giving back to their communities. Members of Conserving Our Ranger Environment held their third annual big event, and more than 470 students turned out to refurbish Alva's Hatfield Park and work on other projects in Alva, Enid, and Woodward. The group also received the Environmental Excellence Award for colleges and universities from Keep Oklahoma Beautiful. Our students are the heart of a great university. While I could talk forever about their experiences and love for Northwestern, their stories are told best in their own words.
I got started in rodeo whenever I was about 12 years old. My dad put up an arena for me and my brother and bought some steers, and we got started team roping. And things have just kind of taken off from there, and people have helped me along the way. I chose Northwestern because my brother was here. His name's Tyler Johnson. He graduated from here in 2007, and he had told me that it was a good place to come rodeo and get your education. As far as future goals, I'd like to someday make it to Las Vegas to the National Finals Rodeo in the PRCA. I plan to spend the next few years working at that and rodeoing hard to try and get there. The men's team has a pretty good shot to make the college finals, which you have to finish in the top 2 in the region with 14 other schools. So it's a pretty big accomplishment to be able to do something like that. I've got a pretty decent chance in all 3 of my events to make the college finals, mainly the steer wrestling, but I've got a shot in the other 2. My events are steer wrestling, calf roping, and team roping. And I've been to Casper once before in the calf roping and the steer wrestling, and I'd sure like to go back again. Northwestern means a lot to me. I've spent the last 4 years here, and I'm going to graduate from here in May. It's something that I'll always remember.
Northwestern was a place to be away from home but be close at the same time. So I like that about it. I also like the small town atmosphere of it since I grew up in a small town. I always knew that I wanted to work in a job where I could help people. So the social work profession was the obvious choice for me. It's a profession where you can help people deal with their everyday issues, and I think it's just so neat that you can help somebody straighten their lives and get back on track. My favorite part about Northwestern is how helpful everybody is here, how open to new ideas and new projects the faculty is, and they're very willing to work with you on a personal level to where you don't feel lost in the crowd. Because I received such great financial help from Northwestern, I am able to graduate. I'm going to be able to graduate college, and I'll be the first one in my family to graduate college, and that's a great accomplishment for both me and my parents who have gone through a lot of sacrifices so I can graduate college.
Here at Northwestern, it is just a family tradition. My grandparents, Roland Meyer and Barbara Faulkner, both went here to Northwestern. My parents, Bruce Meyer and Dixie Faulkner, also went here. My older sister came here to Northwestern, and now I'm here. And I'm pretty sure my little brothers will also be here too. Scholarships helped me a lot. One of the reasons I came to Northwestern is I wanted to pay my tuition and fees as much as I can without my parents' help. And these scholarships really helped me bridge the gap in my finances, as I paid my tuition by myself for the duration of my 4 years here. I chose Northwestern because of, number one, because of its affordability. I really was fearful of taking out a student loan here for my undergraduate with future plans of going to law school. So Northwestern was a definite draw because of its affordability. The second point of why I chose Northwestern was the location. Being from Alva, I found it was a huge plus to be able to go to a great university in my very hometown. And I was able to be with my family another 4 years and be involved with my little brother's activities and such. And number three thing why I chose Northwestern is because of the student-to-teacher ratio. I really think that is something that the big schools sometimes overlook, is the fact that here at Northwestern, the teachers know your name, they care for you, they have no problems answering an email and sorting out any problems of any kind, and I really think that is one of the biggest draws of Northwestern.
One of the main reasons I chose Northwestern was the quality of education that I felt that I could receive here. I also chose Northwestern because of the relationship that the faculty has with its students. You can get one-on-one consultation with them. You're not a number, you're a person, and to me that means more than, going to a big college where you're just considered a number. I was married for 23 years to my abuser. My daughter was born in 2004 and he started in on her, and that's when I knew that I had to leave. At that point, the only place that I could run to was the shelter, and they presented me with this program called New Beginnings, and I jumped at the chance. I personally chose Northwestern because of the collaboration between New Beginnings and the college. They have established a program that allows me to attend this college while paying my tuition. Talking financially wise, this is the only college that I know that can that allows me to have a second chance with my daughter and be the main provider for us. This program, along with Northwestern, helped me to be able to become the main provider for my daughter and I, so that we wouldn't have to go back to him. And it also helped me to stand on my own 2 feet. This college has done so much for me.
As you can see, our future and the future of this university are bright. Thank you, and Ride Rangers Ride.
Great. Thank you very much. At this time, Tom Evans will lead us in thanks. Tom is a 1984 graduate. He's a former member of the Northwestern Foundation Board of Trustees.
Please. Father God, we come today on this beautiful day that you blessed us with, this exciting event. Just a time to honor those that have done so much, have given so much, and have been blessed with so much. We thank you for this university. It's for so many of us what a blessing in our life to come to these campuses and have education and friendships we've made. We thank you for it. God, I continue to pray for the leadership of the president and the things that she faces and the future students that come through this facility. We thank you for the young people that are here and just what joys they've had. We thank you for those that are coming back for special awards and those special classes. Just be with them. Give us this meal and prepare it. Just ask that you can do this on our way home. All this I pray in your Son Jesus Christ. Amen.
Cartwheel Food Service prepared a very nice meal for us this evening. After the head table, please divide the Student Government President. A member of the class of 2011, is the son of Don and Lenny Lauderdale of Enid, Oklahoma. Vince served as a Northwestern Scholar and Ambassador and is one of this year's outstanding seniors. Ladies and gentlemen, let me present to you Vince Lauderdale.
Throughout the years at Northwestern, we've all had our ups and downs. We've had our good professors and our bad professors. Made our new friends and lost our old ones. We thought we knew what we wanted and then changed our mind. Over and over. In all those times, good or bad, we grew into the people that we are today. Northwestern prepared us to enter a world that we'd never experienced before. A world outside of our comfort zone. I was able to be involved with several different things while at Northwestern. I was able to meet several different people in ranging from SGA to intramurals, and I couldn't have asked for a better experience. I always felt that at Northwestern the people cared not just that you were here and they were getting paychecks, they actually wanted you to do well in school and in life. Northwestern shaped us by challenging us and made us ready to take our role. I know this is just the beginning for the 2011 class, and I know we'll make our mark and surpass all expectations as we start that new year. I know that everyone in this room, when they look back, will all have different memories and recall different experiences. But I know that we can all smile when we look back on Northwestern and what it meant for us. So, the words of our team president, Ryder and Brother.
Our outstanding graduates have each made significant contributions in their respective fields with the education and experience received at Northwestern that prepare them to learn today and lead tomorrow. The Alumni Association accepts nominations all year long and typically selects honorees in early February. You are all invited to submit nominations. Pictures and biographies of this year's outstanding graduates have been included in our banquet program. And so now I will introduce each one of them. The outstanding graduate in the recognition category has already built quite a resume in the communication industry. Immediately upon graduation, she was offered a television news reporter position, which she held a couple of years. Her current position is anchoring for the CBS affiliate in Fort Smith, Arkansas. Let me introduce Allison Woods.
As you know, I'm a television anchor, so this is really hard to do with my teleprompter in front of me without words. I think I can do better than that. But I came to Northwestern about 4 years ago. I was a transfer student from Fort Hays State University in Kansas. And my first major was ag business and vocal music performance. And I knew I loved talking to the public, so when I came here, I decided to go into TV. And the staff here was great. They told me exactly what I needed to do to get into this field. And Mr. Schroeder has helped me from the very beginning. To this day, he calls me or texts me or emails me about once a week, catching up on my career. And he asks me for my advice, and he definitely gives me his advice. He tells me, oh, well, are you going to cut your hair? Are you going to do this? So, and before I got into TV, he told me all about it. The goods and the bads about it, and he told me, and I'll remember this, and my mom reminds me every day. Mr. Schroeder said, Allison, you have a full package, you just gotta really want it to be in TV. And he's absolutely right. The first couple days that I worked in television, I worked 36 hours straight. So he said it's not very glamorous business, even though people may think that. But Northwestern has definitely got me to where I'm at today. And I plan on going further. And everyone here, Melanie Walderman, very clearly used to work here. Valarie Case, Angela Case, they have just been by my side the whole way. Every week or every month, someone's been in contact with me somewhere from Northwestern or Oklahoma State University. And I would love to recommend this university to anybody. So thank you very much for this award, and I really appreciate it.
This year is special because we will recognize two people with the Ranger Recognition Award. Only awarded a handful of times over the years, today we honor two together because that's how most of us know them. Their lives revolve around Northwestern. To quote one of the nomination letters, their tireless efforts to make a difference for those they encounter here have made a difference in the lives of too many to count. I give you Angela Case and Valarie Case.
I've been so lucky to have so many good times at Northwestern. As a student, the whole experience here was amazing. Making so many friends, being involved in the art department led by Gamallo, making friends, working with the campus newspaper led by Manny, and making friends. And we really did have fun. I'm thankful to still be in contact with several of these wonderful people. A little later on, I had the great fortune of being hired to work here. I truly mean that. I love being part of this wonderful university. For instance, being part of the division of Humanities, Fine Arts, and Language, and that wonderful group of people led by John Barton, who taught me so very much. I'm also thankful for learning the ropes in the media center and being able to be creative in an educational environment. Thank you, Mr. Barton, Joe Wilker, and Ray Out for allowing me the opportunity to work here. The absolute best part of Northwestern, and I know you've heard this before, are the people. It truly is a family. You all know it. You've lived it too in one way or another. Let me quickly introduce you our family. My mom, who most of, well, some of you have already met, she's also known as Mom in case to many people. Also here is my aunt and uncle, our Elaine Hamilton, cousins Mark, Ryan, and Madeline Dixon are over there. By the way, Mark, it really isn't a roast and you don't get to I would also love to quickly introduce you our other guests. These are friends who have become family to us. Tom and Cheryl Evans, Tom Mason, Kim Kelsey, Lois Hutchins, Eric Burke, Eric and Hannah Scott, Andrew Lockwood, Bradley Gilbert. The university has added even more to our family. We now have a Ranger family. We have family that we attended school with, family that we work with every day, family from our days working at the theater and mass comm departments, and our family from the athletic department, and our art society community. We have a few of our members here tonight that I'm so very proud of. Please wave to them. Shauna, Kylie, Misty, Brad. How can you possibly go wrong with a family like this? And now since I'm here, as a part of the art society, I, along with so many others, would like to say thank you to the Liston family for giving us the gift of an art program again. Let me close tonight by saying something that I recently used on my Facebook status. Family isn't always blood. It's the people in your life who want you are theirs. The ones who accept you for who you are. The ones who would do anything to see you smile. And who love you no matter what. Thank you very sincerely to my family. to Dustin, Cheryl, Sharon, and Lily, and all my Ranger family for so many wonderful years here. And thank you to the Northwestern Alumni Association for tonight and such a wonderful award. What a great day. I never dreamed that I'd be getting such a special award from the Northwestern Alumni Association. I thought these honors were reserved for alumni like those sitting at the head tables tonight. To be among this group and to be honored for my association with Northwestern means the world to me, and I thank you so much. Especially because I'm sharing it as one of the case sisters, as we seem to be known by many across campus. Angela and I toyed with the idea of creating our acceptance speeches through a video presentation, as we're both a lot more comfortable behind the scenes. Now that I stand here, I think maybe I should start to that plan. But we're all kidding aside, I just want to take a moment to express how much Northwestern means to me. I'm so thankful to those who helped me find scholarships and financial aid so I could attend college, because it certainly wasn't a given that I would. I'm also thankful that my parents made sure I remained a good student, because the high grades kept the scholarships coming. I've been associated with Northwestern since 1981, when I first came to campus as a freshman, and immediately became involved with the Northwestern News. Mr. Wayne Lane was my advisor, and Terry Wynn was the student editor. At that time, all we had was a journalism minor, so I was really excited for the mass communications program established, giving me something to major in. I found my way back to the Northwestern family in 1989 when Terry Wynn, who was then now head of the public relations office, he gave me a job. The office has evolved quite a bit since I first began working here, and I think my current boss and colleague, Steve Valencia, would agree. However, what hasn't changed is that we're also a family. Not only have I been able to work at the same place as my sister for a number of years now, I'm working at a place I truly love, with some of the best people. I've been blessed to have teachers like Mr. Lane, John Martin, Bob Martin, and Dr. Ruth Stewart. These individuals and many more then became colleagues and friends. And my goodness, so many friends and memories have been made being at Northwestern. It really is true that lifelong friends are made while in college, but the same can be said of the friends I've made while working here. I truly cherish the friendships of students who have come through Northwestern since I've been working here, and I'm blessed that a few have been able to join us here tonight, and I thank you. Believe it or not, I taught my good friend Dr. Cheryl Evans how to use the darkroom. And now she's going to be a college president. Cheryl, thank you for your part in tonight's events, and I'm so glad that you and Tom are able to be here to share this evening with us. 3 other good friends were unable to attend tonight but had a hand in tonight's events. They are Charity Lyon, Dustin Smith, and Willie Spears. Or as Dustin and Willie were known back in the day, the dime and the nickel. I just want to thank them and let them know I cherish their friendship. I also want to thank my family for being here tonight. You all mean the world. Now, as for the memories, there are way too many to mention them all. But some of the ones that really stand out include helping to take a group of Mass Comm students to Oklahoma City 3 days after the Nora federal building was bombed, so that students could get hands-on media training. Or taking photos all season of the 1999 NAIA championship football team, or any of the theater productions I helped with while getting my master's. There's only one problem I see with working at Northwestern. Friendships are made in the 4 to 5 years, maybe more for some, that students spend at the university, and then they move away. Some of them very far away. But I try my best to keep them up to date with the happenings of the university, so every so often they'll make it back to campus. I get to do a lot of different things here at Northwestern, and with everything I do, I keep 2 of my favorite quotes in mind. Hold yourself responsible for a higher standard than anybody else expects of you. And every job is a self-portrait of the person who does it. Autograph your work with excellence. Thank you again for this wonderful honor. I will always bleed red and black.
The arts category was first awarded last year. This recipient has used his talent with words as a professional journalist for 41 years. His assignments have been as varied as the people he has written about. He was even mistaken for actor Omar Sharif by a pair of Egyptian military soldiers. Let's welcome Manny Gamallo.
It's normally OU, OSU, University of Tulsa, and graduates from that Northeastern and some of the other schools. And so when I do meet one, it's suddenly it's like meeting someone from home, like somebody from your family, like a cousin. Okay, so a month ago in the Tulsa World Newsroom, I was introduced go that way. You ever notice that OU and OSU people don't hug? Let me give you another case in point that I typifies and exemplifies the Northwestern experience, where it means to all of us out closely, it draws us together. In the early days of last September, two aging 63-year-old men met for the first time outside of the Masonic Lodge in Pawnee, Oklahoma. A grand jury had been meeting there for several weeks and had offered up indictments against one of the Pawnee County commissioners and the sheriff. Now these two guys, they didn't know each other, but what they had in common was Northwestern. In fact, they were on campus at the same time during 1968, 69. Didn't know each other. One was a 21-year-old freshman, the other one was a 21-year-old senior. Yet, not having known each other, what we're really doing together was the Northwestern experience. So there they sat on the concrete steps of that building, in their business building, by the way, in the shadow of that building, and just quickly discussed part of the talk about Northwestern. And in the ensuing weeks, right into November, there was a number of trials and hearings in the courtroom, and both before court hearings began, during recesses, during lunchtime, and even afterwards. Beyond discussing the courtroom events of the day, these two guys got around to talking about Northwestern. Everything about Northwestern. They talked about their friends. They had mutual friends. They talked about where their friends have gone, what they were doing. They talked about their campus experiences, and they also talked in glowing terms about their instructors that they had. To the casual observer would seem the obvious, youthful enthusiasm in their voices and their faces of these two grain men. And would have understood what the ideals, the values, the knowledge that they picked up here at Northwestern, what it meant to them, how it shaped and molded their lives and propelled them forward into successful careers. I was that 21-year-old freshman that I referred to, and I was covering this nonsense of the monkey business in Pawnee County across the world. The other 21-year-old senior, he was a district attorney out of Western Oklahoma, who was appointed by the Attorney General as a special prosecutor in Pawnee County. And he was an outstanding graduate of his own right, because not only did he get the county commissioner out of there for a couple of perjury convictions around his neck, but he managed to do something that no one else in that county has ever been able to do, and that was get the sheriff ousted after a 3-day trial. This is nothing small. In Eastern Oklahoma, things are actually different than around here. Most of my career has been in Eastern Oklahoma. I can tell you things are different in Eastern Oklahoma. Once you cross the Indian Meridian, but he's outstanding in his own way. And like I said, he's a district attorney for Western Oklahoma. He covers 5 counties, almost every day of the week. And he covers Woodward County, Dewey County, Major County, Alpha County, and Woods County, right here in Alva. And in case you don't know him, I'd like to introduce him today, because I consider him truly an outstanding graduate, and that would be District Attorney Hollis Ford. He left me with a great little comment. I think goes to the heart. I really can't say it better. He said, quote, "It's a great school," end quote. And that's all I have to say. And I want to thank everybody for this award. It really means a lot. Thank you.
Northwestern's outstanding graduate in the Humanitarian category has served in the governor's office in the state of Arkansas for 32 years, spanning the terms of 5 governors. She has been a guide to countless individuals in crisis, cutting through bureaucratic red tape to connect them with the right people. It's my pleasure to introduce Barbara Duncan.
That's going to be a tough act to follow. It truly is an honor to be here tonight. And I always look forward to coming home to see my family and friends, but this occasion makes it extra special. When Mrs. Ritchie called me and told me about this award, I was thrilled. I just couldn't hardly believe it. And she said, do you think that you can make arrangements to get back to Alumni? I said, I'll make my very earnest efforts. So that night, my husband and I had friends over at Art and Monty River. Would you stand, please? And I told them why I needed to come to Alumni and asked them if they would drive us. And they so graciously said they would. So being blind and my husband being blind, you just can't get up and go. You've got to have some prearranged plans. And Ms. Ritchie, thank you for giving me advance notice so that we can make those plans. What I really want to expound upon tonight is that people come into our lives for a reason and a season, and they stay for various reasons, and they leave for various reasons. Some move away, some pass away, and some just get tired of you. And they really don't care whether they stand again or not. We've all had that experience. My mother was a very dear and devoted parent. She helped me in many, many ways, one of which she read my textbooks and she read assignments for me. This was in grade school over at Washington Elementary and here at Northwestern. Another person that has always been extremely important to me is Mr. Lee Haley. Sir, would you stand for a moment? No, I
easygoing because she said, Martha, you won't always have me. And there will be a day you need to know how to take care of yourself, and you need to know how to support yourself. Well, at 12 years old, that didn't mean a whole lot. But it sure means a lot to me today. So I did go to the School of the Blind, 8th grade through high school. That first year was terrible because I could no longer read print, and I was just learning Braille. So, in essence, I was illiterate the first year there. So here I am trying to succeed academically and trying to try every night because I was homeschooled. Because Muskogee is 365 miles from LA, and that felt like it was across the world. It seemed that way to me at that time. But I'm so glad that Mr. Bailey stepped out on my behalf. And that I did go, and that gave me the foundation. So I did graduate in May of '64, and then I had to think about what am I going to do the rest of my life. And Illinois Rehabilitation came to the School of the Blind and taught me this. And back in 1964, folks, there wasn't too many things offered to you the blind. Will you be sent home for the rest of your life? No. I canceled that out. Okay. Then, I could be a vendor. Well, that was fine. A lot of my friends had gone and been vendors in state and federal buildings. And they made a lot of good living. But I didn't think that's me. One was to go to college. I wasn't sure that I could do that. And the other was to be a piano tutor. Oh, I couldn't see myself doing that. So you can see there weren't too many options. So I did start my freshman year here at Northwestern in the fall of '64. At that time, I was the second choir student to have attended this university. And I did not know the gentleman who preceded me, but I knew he had an academic success. And I'm like, boy, I've got a lot to learn here. I've got to really stay with it. So I did. I put my feet on the ground and I decided, Father, this is your future, and you've got to be in control. So let me name some of the people here at Northwestern that had an impact on those early years. Oris Quigley was the office manager. And I went to Oris and I said, I need a way to earn a little money. I need some spending money. So she said, well, why don't you see if you can learn to operate our 60 extension switchboard. Oh, that was exciting. That was a possibility. And so I worked for 2 weeks with no pay because we wanted to see if I could do it. I memorized all those extensions, which seemed to be a long time, but I did learn them, and I got the job. Then it wasn't too much longer until Northwestern decided they wanted a bigger board. One or two operators could use it simultaneously. I thought, oh, there goes my part-time job. Miss Hughley went over with me to the fire arts building where the board was placed. And we worked out a way that I would use it. It had several extensions, and I would put the Braille symbols on each extension row. And then I learned to count over to the extension number that needed to be plugged in. At that time, I could still see the board when it would light up, just like a Christmas tree, when we had lots of calls coming in. So that was the way I made my money while I was a student 40 years ago. There was a professor named John Sheffield, and he was my advisor, and he was also in charge of sociology, and that was my degree. Dr. Sheffield read his test for me, and that was great. That was a lot because the ADA had not come into effect where disabled students were given chances. Another instructor was A.B. Childress, and he instructed early Western civilization, which was boring for me to start with. But it was required, so I thought, well, I've got to dig in here. He too read many of the tests that he had written. But guess what? He learned quickly that multiple choice questions are extremely difficult for people who can't see to keep going back and forth across the question or back and forth across the choices. And he told me, he said, Barbara, although you told me this was very difficult, I'm going to see for myself. So he blindfolded himself, and he had someone read the questions to him. He said, you're absolutely right. Much more difficult, believe me, because sometimes when you look at those questions, you might find a word that gives you the right choice. I didn't have that option. By the time I read all the choices, I never forgot what the question was. So it was a real trial to go back and forth over all that. The Cardinal Key National Honor Sorority on campus read for me. Each girl who was in that group signed up to read 1 hour a week each semester. And we were given a room over in the education building. And it was just for that purpose. When I had an assignment, then I'd check out my reading list, and the lady would meet me there, and we would write, they would read, and I would take my notes and write. And it was quiet, and we did a great job. I appreciate Northwestern for giving me that accommodation. My mother continued to read to me tirelessly, weekends and evenings. And even my little dog got involved with that because he would lay across the book when she was reading. So Mom had to put him under the book. He listened to what we read. We thought he was the most educated dog in our life. He probably was. Then I was able to get some of my textbooks recorded to the line out of New Jersey. And thank goodness they were way back. I want to thank the people I've mentioned here and many others that I have not. Because with their help, I was able to graduate from Northwestern with honors in May of 1969. 42 years ago. Okay, that's a long time. But I've been blessed. I've been very blessed. Because when I left Alba in May of '69, I had a job teaching Braille at the Arkansas Enterprise Blind, which is now Blind Social Services for Blind and overall. That's a rehabilitation center for adult blind. Got to meet people all across the country and in some foreign countries. Now, I taught there for 7 years. I met my husband there. Adrian, would you stand please? Adrian was one of my students. So, no, we could not fraternize. Well, he was a student. He worked very hard. He went back to Tennessee, his home state, and he graduated from Austin Peay State University in Clarksville, Tennessee. Then he came back to the center, was going to train to work for the IRS, and the center gave him a job. And so we began to date and we married. So, and in December this year, we celebrate our 33rd wedding anniversary. When I left the center, I then went to the Arkansas Attorney General's office, where I was a consumer counselor. We worked, we called it CPD. Got to talk to people all across Arkansas about all kinds of things. They got ripped off, mail fraud, all kinds of things. But I got to discuss with them what their options might be in that particular situation. And then our Attorney General at that time was a went to the Capitol, he came by talking to somebody else, and see if you did, and I said, Bill, I'd like to go to the Capitol, where you go? He said, you would? I said, yes, sir. I knew he was taking notes, but I really didn't think he was paying any attention. Approximately 2 weeks later, I got enough from him saying I was going to the Capitol with him, and I've been working in casework. What is casework? Didn't know back then, but I've learned since that, so, thanks to the good Lord and to the last 5 governors in the state of Arkansas, I have been in that office 32 and 1 years. And for that, I'm very, very proud and very, very pleased. I got to work with people across the state for many reasons. Maybe Arkansas Medicaid. Also, the food stamp program, now known as SNAP. Also, Social Security Disability and SSI, and they're going to say those are federal programs. That's true, they are. However, each state has a disability determination office. So if any of you have to apply for disability, your claim will eventually go to that state's disability determination office, and they will make the medical determination if you meet the guidelines. So, and just this past week, I got to talk with a mother of an 18-year-old who was in a serious car accident this past Christmas night. Serious head injuries and left blind. And I talked to her and I said, I know your son's life looks bleak at this time. His future looks bleak. I said, man, he doesn't have to stay. And she wondered, how do I know him? So I told her a little bit about myself, and she was just she said, I'm so glad it's going to be what you're doing. So I feel very pleased and very honored that I had the opportunity to put this to this mom, because she's got a young son that has a long way to go. And I said, it will be tiring, it will be lengthy, and it will be much work. But he can learn, and he can overcome. And for that, I'm grateful. And I'd like to say this. I'd like to thank Northwestern, my Alumni Association, and Mrs. Ritchie for all the work that they've done for this program. I know they've been doing things all week long, but it's truly an honor to be here, and I'm so glad that I'm one of the winners. One of the honorees. Thank you.
The outstanding graduate in our education category has more than 36 years of service in public education. Both a teacher and an administrator, he was executive director of the Oklahoma State School Boards Association. As superintendent, he is transforming the Tulsa public school system. I'm pleased to introduce Dr. Keith Ballard.
Manny, if you weren't so far down there, and my time won't limit, I come down there and give you a hug. He's one of the persons you don't ever want to disappoint whenever you're getting up in front of a crowd. You don't want to disappoint a former high school teacher. You just don't want to do that. We got run into right over here at the door before I came in this evening, 2 of my high school teachers. My librarian, one of my most favorite teachers of all time. And what's the last thing he said to me? Don't choke up now. Don't choke up now. So I will do my best in front of my high school teacher. Dr. Cunningham and Elizabeth Ritchie and members of the Alumni Board, I'm profoundly grateful for this award that you have given me this evening. It means a great deal to me. Northwestern, I think it's a great deal to me. In fact, I am so glad to be in Northwestern Oklahoma tonight. I mean, I was born in Partner, raised in Kiowa, Kansas, and Manny spoke a little bit about what it's like in eastern Oklahoma. Now, I love eastern Oklahoma, and I've lived in the Tulsa area since 1972. But there are several people out there who are from the Tulsa area because you've come up and you have spoken to me this evening about Project Schoolhouse. We're in the middle of a consolidation initiative in Tulsa Public Schools where we are closing 14 different schools. It has become a little bit warm in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I spent a lot of time in front of the media. I spent a lot of time explaining why we're closing 14 schools, so then I just come back to Northwestern Oklahoma where I'm here with friends. So it is indeed a pleasure to be here this evening. And I just have to tell you what led me to Northwestern. I had graduated from Fort Hays, Kansas State University, in fact. Spent a year working in Stillwater, driving a freight truck in the back alleys of Stillwater. I wanted to be a teacher. That's what I wanted to do. Steadfastly hung on to that. Wanted to be a teacher. And we got our opportunity. We got our opportunity in eastern Oklahoma at Colita. They wanted to hire me as part of the package deal. My wife told me not to tell this, but hey, I've got the money. They wanted my wife. She had outstanding credentials. They wanted my wife because her father, Elliot Castle, was an institution as a vocational agriculture teacher in Oklahoma, and they had been friends, and bloodlines were good. They wanted my wife to come there and teach. Hey, package deal, what about me? Well, I happen to have, along with a psychology degree, a degree in speech. So it was a language arts qualification. I had a bunch of kids at Colita in junior high who couldn't read it. And he said, we'll take you if you'll come here. You go find some place to take 9 hours of reading. And then we'll take you as a reading teacher for junior high kids. Can you do that? Well, of course I could do that. I wanted off that freight truck. Of course I could do that. So when we were driving home, I kind of was thinking, I can teach junior high kids who can't read to read. Where am I going to go to get 9 hours? We had talked about coming back to the farm at Jet, where my in-laws are. And so we decided, well, let's go over to Northwestern. Great school. Great university. Let's go over there and see what's going on. What happened at Northwestern over the next 3 summers had a dramatic impact on my career. Because I came over and I talked to Dr. Rita Stever and to Dr. Marjorie Behrens. And they are 2 of the finest teachers I have ever known in my life. I mean, it was rigorous, it was demanding, it was hard. I didn't even really want to know I didn't know what it would take to be a reading specialist. I didn't think I wanted to be a reading specialist, but they instilled in me a love for that. But more importantly, what I was taught going through the 3 summers and working with those 2 ladies had a real profound impact on my career. I went on to Oklahoma State University, where I got my doctorate, became an administrator at a fairly early age, but all that I learned here was so very beneficial to me. This evening I have some very special people who are with me. Someone once told me early in my career, you never accomplish anything by yourself. Don't ever think any accomplishments that you have are what you did singularly or individually, and that is absolutely the truth. Well, there are so many people who have had an influence on my life and who have shaped what I am today. I do want to recognize a few of those. I wish my mother could be here this evening. She couldn't, but representing her side of the family, a very special couple, Harold and Ida Gates, who live right here in Alba, had a real influence on me as I was growing up, and I appreciate having my aunt and uncle who are here with me this evening. I've already mentioned my father-in-law, who has taught all of his family so much about the importance of family, about always striving for excellence, and I appreciate him being here with me this evening. My wife, Christy, is with me this evening. Christy actually attended Northwestern for 1 year before she went on to Oklahoma State University. She's from Burlington, so we are from right here. She has done so much to keep me grounded in my career as an administrator. She continually reminds me of the people who do the real work, Mr. Gillian, of the people who do the real work. It's the teachers who meet the kids at the doorway every day, not you people who sit in the nice chairs. And she's always given me the feedback that I felt was very helpful to me and kept me grounded. And this award represents her influence, her input, and her dedication to education every much as it does what I've accomplished. Let me just say in closing how important education is. I've already told you I grew up in Kiowa. My father was a janitor at the school much of the time that I was growing up, worked on the road patching crews some of the time. My mother was a nurse's aide, maybe not a lot of finances in the family, but I'll tell you what there was a total dedication. There was a total dedication to getting an education, and it is the difference maker. It is the difference maker. Today I serve as superintendent over 42,000 students in Tulsa Public Schools, over 3,000 teachers. 85% of our kids come from disadvantaged background. There is only one answer for those children. There is one answer and only one answer, and that is to provide them with the very best possible education so that they can rise up out of their circumstances. And the solution is an effective teacher, a great teacher. To have an impact like Mike McGinley had on me, and like Rita Stever, Marjorie Behrens, and other people, the impact that they have. I am so appreciative to be recognized by a university that gave me so much and made it possible for me to have the kind of career that I have had, and I thank you very much.
The outstanding graduate in the business professional category graduated Northwestern with a degree in chemistry and minors in physics and mathematics. He began a career with Conoco in Ponca City and advanced to research group leader. He has several publications in scientific literature covering gas chromatographic methods to describe refinery processing. I present Charles Stuckey.
Wasn't too many weeks ago, my phone rang and Elizabeth was on the other end and told me that I had been selected to receive this award. And I said, I don't believe it. You know, what have I done? I went to school, I've done a job, I did those things that I'm supposed to do. It wasn't special. But then she asked me, she says, will you accept it? Of course I'll accept it. And you know, I got to thinking, because Northwestern was never in my life plan. Just was not in my life plan. My father was killed in an automobile accident before I was a year old. My mother told me, you're going to college. She just didn't tell me I was going to have to pay for it. But, you know, she came to Northwestern straight out of high school and left this school in 1923 with something that's not available today. In fact, it's called a lifetime teaching certificate. And her goal was for me to be a school teacher. Didn't happen. Didn't happen. I was a senior in high school and had wanted to be a chemical engineer, and I had scholarships to both OU and OSU. My superintendent applied for a scholarship at Northwestern for me. He presented that to me on graduation night along with those other two. And I thought, okay, I'll go to Northwestern and get a couple of years of pre-engineering out of the way, then I'll go to one of the universities. I had a chemistry professor by the name of Dr. Gamallo. And for those of you that didn't know that East Texas gentleman, he was different. But he bought me. I was ready to leave my sophomore year, and he called me and he said, Charles, I need a job teaching freshman chemistry lab classes if you'll stay. So I said, okay. So I stayed. So I was a teacher, sort of. But you know, I got to thinking about this, and nobody reaches success by themselves. Just doesn't happen. Dr. Ballard just spoke to you, and his father-in-law just happened to be my high school co-ed teacher. From the time I was 14 until I was 18, he was not only a teacher, he was a mentor. Taught me lots and lots of things. And I was just amazed that he was here tonight, because he's meant that much to me. People that we work with, people that we get to know, are those who bring us success. I learned very quickly in the industrial field that there were two groups of people that I was going to have to get along with and really nurture if I was going to be successful. The first one was the secretary, and the rest of them were the union technicians that actually did the work for us. Because without those people, you can't succeed. When I went to work in 1962, most of those technicians were World War II veterans who did not go to college because they went to war. And I'll guarantee you they were every bit as smart as I was. And way too old for a fellow in his mid-20s to be the boss. They taught me a lot. I really got upset one day because I was working on a research project and my boss wanted my time. And I didn't want him to have my time. And one of those men looked at me and he says, Charles, you've got to remember, it pays the same for marketing as it does for fighting. Good advice from a man who went to Italy and went to France and shot at that many years. Lots of good advice. Success comes from other people. Nothing happens because we're really good. To the Alumni Association, to the school, I can't express the value of the education that I received here in those 4 years. Sometimes I studied really hard. Sometimes I didn't. But it just kind of depended on what was going on. I was fortunate. My wife Linda is sitting down here, has put up with me being gone evenings, weeks, for a career until I retired in 1994. And then all the things that I've done since. Been a real blessing. We have 3 kids, 7 grandkids. 2 of the kids live too far off to be here, but our son from Sand Springs is here with his wife and our 2 of our grandchildren. And I'm glad they're here. And I want to thank you very, very much.
We have a few introductions remaining this evening, and it's just been a really exceptional evening. I hope it has been for you too. I'd like you to meet our past outstanding graduates in attendance. As I call your names, if you will wave or stand, then everybody can see through here. John Barton and his wife Margaret, Dr. Milton Lear and Becky, Dr. Dennis Wiggin and his wife Janet, Dr. Jim Seeger Newby, Bob Gordon and his granddaughter Alicia, Dr. Peggy Wisdom and her niece Kelsey Gingrich, Dr. Gary Walcomont and his wife Sandy, Dr. Scott Tuxhorn and his wife Yvonne, Rod Duncan and his wife Cece, and Dr. John Ryder and his wife Audrey. definitely have all of you back on campus today. We also honored certain members of the senior class of 2011. Congratulations to all of you and the best of luck. Dr. Fred Youngman was named the John Sheffield Teacher of the Year today. An event like this has so many moving parts. I can't even express adequately what it takes to put on something like this. There are some people that I want you to meet, and as I call your names, please stand. These are the members of the Foundation and Alumni staff: Misty Knopf, Financial Manager; Kelly Bergrath, Office Manager; Marie Kadady, Marketing and Communications Manager; Susan Holliday, Relationship Manager. They form a circle of support around me. And bless bravo for this exceptional event. You've met some special students today. They have been wonderful assistants in many areas. Each one of them is a Northwestern Scholar Ambassador. Please thank Jared Gentry, Audra Halliburton, you all stand, Madison Malone, and Jordan Tyree. Skeeter Bird is the Chief Executive Officer of the Northwestern Foundation and Alumni Association. A 1985 graduate, his passion for Northwestern is exemplified not only by his Ranger spirit, but also by the energy he brings to his position. Skeeter.
I've got a few introductions to make, but before I do that, I want to give you their job titles. I want to tell you a very short story, and it's about what they do. In February, I was negotiating with a huge gift for us, and during this discussion, I was talking to this businessman. And one of his questions he posed to me was, are you going to make money? How do you make money? And I had an answer for that, and he took that and kind of sat on that for a couple of days, and we had another discussion afterwards. And in that same week, I was across the street. I was running a few minutes late, so I didn't make parking in the circle, so I was over by the donut shop. And ran into a couple farmers that I knew, and I started talking to them. We're talking about weather, drought, and they said, "Are you making any money?" And I said, "Guys, we're not in the business of making money. We're in the business of changing lives." And that's what these people do here at Northwestern. And that's what our donors do for these students at Northwestern. We change lives, and I think you've heard that in the stories from our alums, and I think you can see it in these new students that are about to go out in the world. And I'd like to introduce those folks. We start with the senior staff, Dr. Janet Cunningham, her husband Rick. Dr. Steve Lohman and Lisa Holder. Steve's the Executive Vice President. Dave Pecky, Vice President for Administration. Brad Collins, his wife Lisa, is Vice President for Student Affairs and Enrollment Management. Dr. Carol Evans, her husband Tom, is the Dean of the campus for just a little while longer. We kind of had a running joke. In order to be a dean of one of the Woodward or dean campuses, you had to have a husband named Tom. That's probably going to change that pretty soon. Dr. Dean Fisher, her husband Tom, is Dean of Woodward campus. Dr. James Bowen, his wife Jane, is the Dean of School of Professional Studies. Steve Valencia, Associate Vice President for University Relations. His wife Shelley, our athletic director. And Myra Gibson, administrative assistant to the president. And those are just three I'd also like to introduce a few people from the foundation. Back in the back, we've got Donovan Reichenberger, whose bodyguard's been doing weeks with him tonight. Stuart Arthurs is D.H. Cheryl Adrian. Stuart Fisher. Felton Crouch from Alba. And John Gordon and his wife Margaret from Alba. I think I'll be followed by Dr. Gary Waltman.
I want you to know that tiptoed by Keith, because he graduated from Iowa, I graduated from Hartman, and had Northwestern connection, so I don't know what kind of hug you had to bring. First of all, wouldn't you like to see all these undergraduates stand and get another round of great applause? Congratulations to you all. It's been a wonderful evening, and listening to your experiences is really a big thrill. I must tell you that my job here this evening is to be short, as my wife reminded me. But what I want to do is point out to you what the Ranger means to a lot of Rangers. First of all, not only is this a beautiful sculpture by Howard T. Holden, who put Will Rogers in front of Will Rogers Airport, who put the Crane Cowboy at OSU. He also put the Ranger here at Northwestern. And so I think back about what it means to be a Ranger. And I can tell you that I was a green freshman when I came here in 1958 from the thriving metropolis of Hartner. I was 7 in my senior class. One of the first guys I met was Stuart Arthurs. Stuart, we wore green beanies to show how green we were. And Stuart was an amazing athlete. He was All-American in everything he ever tried. But what I wanted to do was, I want to ask you one question. Why would you want a piece of metal this heavy sitting around in your house, just another piece of something to dust? There were a lot of things that happened at Northwestern when I was here. And I wanted to share some of the things with you that I'd never had an opportunity to do before I got to Northwestern. Now, I won't go into all of them, but there's 3 I want to mention in particular. Before I came to Northwestern, I never bounced on a trampoline. And I started bouncing on a trampoline, and Bud Matthews said, you know, if you practice on that, you might get pretty good. And with his coaching, I was competing at the national level. And so that was experience number 1. Experience number 2, something I'd never done before. I'd never taken a course in biology or chemistry. You come from a school as big as Hartner, your options are limited. And when I took my first biology course, Dr. Ed.D. Fisher put a spark in me that I'll never be able to extinguish. And Barbara, if Stanley Smith was not the first blind student here at Northwestern, yeah, he was. I sat by Stanley in my first biology class, and I helped him with his stylus and his templates to take notes in Braille. And every once in a while, he'd poke me. He kept me awake in that class. But he also was wanting to know what the answer was. He said, what did she say? And so I kind of whispered to him, and I thought one day that I was going to get in trouble because of whispering to Stanley. And so Dr. Fisher called me over, and she says, I want you to know what you're doing is good. And that made me feel really proud. And the third thing I'd never done before I got to Northwestern was I'd never found true love. And I met a cute little gal from Manny, Oklahoma. Manny, stand up. On Thursday of this last week, we celebrated our 49th anniversary, which means 2 kids and 6 grandkids, so Easter hunting at our place is a blast, I'll tell you. And so I know each and every one of you who've
had associations with Northwestern, and particularly those individuals recognized here this evening, can come up with more than 3 things that changed your life. And so while Harold Colton sculpted the Ranger, which gives us the spirit of being Rangers and united together, the interesting thing about this is Northwestern sculpts lives. So consider a Ranger on your mantle. Thank you.
Just a couple of more things. On page 11, in your program, it reflects the slate of nominees for the 2011-2012 academic year. Those nominated for office are Byron Kane, President, Karen Stevenson, Vice President, Judy Waldemont, Recording Secretary, and Elizabeth Ritchie, Secretary and Treasurer. Those nominated for the class of 2014 are Byron Kane and Courtney Harster. Are there any, please, are there any nominations from the floor? None. Leave it then. If not, these are approved by acclamation. With Alumni Association and Northwestern, hope everyone has enjoyed your day today with us. And now Ray Lindbergh, our vocal department alumni, will lead us in our alma mater. Thank you.